Ukraine's delegation is heading back to Kyiv after holding talks with U.S. officials in Geneva over the weekend. Those talks were aimed at refining a U.S. peace proposal to end the war in Ukraine. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelenskyy says the main problem with the U.S. proposal is Russian President Vladimir Putin, quote, wants legal recognition to what he has stolen with regards to Ukrainian territory under Russian control. He went on to say we are at a critical moment in the peace talks.
Of course, we all continue working with partners, especially the United States, and look for compromises that strengthen but not weaken us. And we will continue explaining how dangerous it is to pretend that aggression is something one can simply overlook and move on.
Zelenskyy could visit the U.S. this week. CBS News has learned U.S. and Ukrainian officials are discussing a potential trip as President Trump pushes to get a peace deal done by Thanksgiving. CBS News national security contributor Sam Vinograd joins us now. Sam, what do you make of that timeline? I mean, given right now that I think most probably believe this 28-point proposal favors Russia, if Ukraine were to agree to exactly what's on the table right now by Thanksgiving, would they be putting themselves at a disadvantage?
They certainly would be, and I think it is unlikely that Ukraine is going to carte blanche agree to a peace proposal that would really put significant limits on its military, open the door to Russia just invading Ukraine again, and taking off the table Ukraine ever joining NATO. Ukraine also has to socialize any agreement it makes with countries other than the United States, including the UK, including France, and including NATO members. So I think the timeline is more than ambitious. It just logically doesn't work. At the same time, Zelenskyy is certainly feeling pressure to publicly and privately show momentum so that President Trump doesn't try to bully him into a corner by withdrawing intelligence support or security assistance again.
And Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney is joining some other nations in saying the world doesn't need the U.S. in order to move forward on a peace plan. He said this Sunday at the G20 summit in Johannesburg.
Yes, I think that the rest of the world and supporters of Ukraine are quite keen to present a peace proposal to both Ukraine and Russia that does not look like capitulation on its face. However, it's clear that Vladimir Putin views the United States as key to ending the war in whatever terms are hammered out. So while U.S. allies are certainly working on a workaround, I think it's unlikely that Vladimir Putin is going to agree to play ball with anybody but President Trump, which really requires President Trump to show leadership and solidarity with the victim in this war, which is Ukraine.
Sam Vinograd, thank you.